Oh yeah, so the quality of smartphones is so good now that there's no point in using a DSLR. They're just the same. Does this look the same to you, you fucking idiot? I mean, when people say shit like that, it makes me want to fucking shoot up a school. Welcome to Woke News of the Week. If you didn't notice the improvement in camera quality, please turn off now. You don't deserve to watch. One thing I want to talk about is the use of euphemisms on TikTok for serious issues. Instead of saying rape, people now say grape. You are minimizing how important rape is. Additionally, instead of saying suicidal, people are saying I was unalived or whatever. I unalived myself. Fucking hell. Instead of saying genocide, people are saying G-side. What's my point in all this? My point is that we are tipping the hat to the infantilization of the West by China. China has produced TikTok. China is inundating our youth with the most retarded shit they could possibly come up with. And in order not to get shadow banned, we can't even speak about these issues anymore. And you're just allowing that to happen? That's crazy to me. You know what they're doing in China? They're having rigorous debates. Okay, so just stop saying grape. Say rape. So that was my first bit of news. The second bit of news is that I saw a non-binary in the gym. Now, by non-binary I mean a girl with green hair. Okay, but I assume she has gender dysphoria. Now, it made me realize that I think we need to provide the non-binary community, and this is totally me being totally helpful, with gym memberships. There should be a governmental push. And the reason why I think that is because when I get on that treadmill, boy, I could be depressed, I could be suicidal, unalivable, and 5 kilometers in, it clears the bullshit thoughts in my mind. I feel better. I think clearer. The day isn't so bad. There is potential. There is hope. If you're still struggling with whether you're a boy or a girl aged over the age of 21, something really bad has happened along the way. One of the first things I realized as a kid that I was a boy. Okay, and the way I realized that was I was called a boy by my parents who raised me in a heteronormative cult called society in the 1990s. You know, so my dad would go, good boy, bad boy, boys will be boys. And then I realized, oh, I'm a boy. That was when I was 2 years old. When I was 5 or something, I went up to my mum one day, I go, okay, I get I'm a boy. And this was the only little bit of clarification I needed as a child. I said, what's the difference between a boy and a girl? She said, well, what do you think it is? Because she was unsure about whether to tell me or not. And the minute she said, what do you think it is? I somehow realized what it was. We're all born with the information by God. And I was so embarrassed. I quickly said, I went crimson red. I said, boys have short hair, girls have long hair. And I ran away. Okay. But I knew that it was genitalia. So my thought of the week is we need to help out transgender community by providing gyms. The third news piece of the day is that this guy, Michael Rapaport, who to me is Phoebe's boyfriend and friends / some sports guy, he is going off on one regarding Israel and Palestine. What is it about news events that makes us so excited?
That river, that sea, that's Israeli land, okay? Get it out of your heads. River to the sea. It's not happening.
Did you see me in 2021? Guys, it's wrong to... What did I even used to say? I went viral for saying shit like, it's wrong to socially segregate people based on their medical situation. Obviously, I was right. Obviously, you were wrong. But I shouldn't have been saying it out loud or upset about it because what's the fucking point? Michael Rapaport has jumped on this whole Jewish stuff.
Shabbat Shalom. It is a big day for me. I am getting bar mitzvah today. I was never bar mitzvah 1982.
The Palestinians are upset because their kids are being murdered, and the Israelis are upset because people are saying that they're murdering Palestinian children, which they are. So Michael Rapaport has gone to Israel and put on his little Jewish hat. And it's like, bro, you don't wear the Jewish hat usually. Stop pretending. And then also Grace from Will and Grace has also gone to Israel and said, I feel so at home now. This is where I'm meant to be. That's a load of shite.
You know why you feel safer here? Why? Because you're home. It really is. It really is. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave.
You've never been there before. And I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Palestine. What about a compromise where Israel promised to halve the amount of kids they kill and we promise to stop criticizing them about it? That's terrible. How could you say something like that? It's a terrible suggestion. But, you know, women are wilding out these days. In Northern Ireland, women went mental. They all went on stage and, like, basically had sex with men in public. And then on Twitter, people are saying, oh, if you're clutching your pearls about what happened in Devonish, I don't know what Devonish is, but some stupid bar in Northern Ireland, then get over it. And have you ever heard of stag do's? And it's like, I disagree with stag do's as well. I disagree with everything, actually. I'm a Catholic. And Catholic priests are coming back, you guys. They are coming back with a bang. Liberal Ireland has become so nauseating, that the Catholic priests are going fire and brimstone on from the pulpit again for the first time in decades, and it fucking rocks. It feels punk rock, bitch.
We are finished as a country. And before anyone jumps on their high horse and go, he's giving out now about certain orientations. I couldn't give two continental hoots what anybody is, but I don't need it slammed in my face.
Whereas on the other side of the pond, American Catholic priests, you know, allowed a transgender prostitute to have her funeral held in church, and then all her transgender friends were going on about how much of a whore she was.
This great whore, Saint Cecilia, mother of all whores,
and I mean, that is kind of disrespectful, to be honest, to like religion and stuff. Keep it clean, you know, like I'm actually currently being paid a lot of money to speechwrite for a best man speech, like 100 grand kind of thing. But you know what's crazy about it? I am refusing to put in any seedy jokes. I don't like classless behaviour. I don't like talking about the lad's holiday in Magaluf 10 years ago and how he had, you know, accidentally had sex with an animal or whatever these typical best man speeches include. I'm not doing it, you know. So it's not just an anti-trans thing I'm talking about. It's not just an anti-women thing. Guys, there's nothing wrong with being classy. And also Pope Francis is like blessing gay marriages now or some bullshit. It's like, Pope, don't pander to your worst enemy. It's like when I was watching this ad for vegan butter, and you know what the tagline was? 98% of meat eaters say it tastes like the real thing. When you need to refer to the opinion of your worst nemesis to validate your lifestyle and your product, you're cringe. Don't do it. Just double down. Let's be ourselves. Diversity. The Irish basketball women's team refused to shake hands with the Israelis. It's like so crazy how anti-Semitic everybody is now. But it's fun for the liberals to know what it feels like to get to be racist. Because the liberals typically hate racism. Now they're having fun with it. But I would be considered a hateful person because of some of the jokes I've made. Or I basically believe in like limitations to freedom. So that makes me right-wing. To some people. But I don't actually have a problem with black people. I like black people. I don't actually have a problem with gays, women, trans. As a Christian, you're supposed to love them all. If I was playing Russia in a game of football, I would shake the Russians' hands. If I was playing Ukraine, I'd shake the Ukrainians' hands. It's not their problem. And it's so awks when you're caught up in a situation where everybody makes you do the same thing as everybody else. The gay armbands or the kneeling footballers for blacks. There's got to be one lady on that team who didn't want to not shake hands with the Jews. But now they are forced to, because it's just so awkward. So you just go along with the crowd. You remember when in school everybody used to say, oh, be yourself, don't be bullied, peer pressure into shit. Fuck off. That's the entire of society, 98% of society. If you weren't easily bullied in 2021, you weren't allowed in cafes for 6 months, and nobody cares or cared or will care. So please go fuck yourself about all that. Really, you are a dick. My Domino's pizza was delivered by a fat fucking pig delivery driver. And I have no problem with the fat community. I used to be a fucking member. We were watching on the map and he started going in the wrong direction for a long time. So he must have had 2 deliveries. Okay, I know how it works. I used to deliver Domino's pizza. So he made the wrong choice about which to deliver to. The pizza comes after like way too long. And who pulls up? Only somebody on an electric bike. If you're going to be obese, at least know how to drive. Because it's so slow. My pizza's cold. This guy looked like he was so fat. And that is just a medical term. That's not hate speech. He looked like the moon. And I don't mean size-wise. The moon is hundreds of times bigger than any person on Earth. It's hundreds of times bigger than Lizzo, the moon. And I would never exaggerate in that way and say he looked like the moon for that reason. He looked like the moon because his face was so spherically round and white. He was the whitest guy I've ever seen. And he looked exactly like one particular moon we're all familiar with, we all grew up with, we all know and love. The moon from Bear in the Big Blue House. Luna the moon. I was furious. My colleague rang Domino's and we're expecting a full refund. But the reason why that's woke news is don't fucking hire fat people to do deliveries. I don't want to eat cold food. I almost got raped by a female junkie. I got Me Too'd. I bought these AirPod Pros. They're noise cancelling, which sounds great, but actually they're terrible because when you're walking in Dublin's north inner city, you can't hear the junkies coming. Usually you hear, ah, and you turn and they're walking towards you. But because it's noise cancelling, all you feel is their claw on one of your shoulders. I turned around and this like female junkie was like, that's all I saw. And I go, ooh. Took out my little AirPod. The world opens up hourly. And it just goes, give us a kiss, Philly. Give us a kiss, Philly. Oh my God, I really was like, no. Oh no. I thought it was a secret like YouTuber prank. For a second I go, fuck, I'm going to go viral for being such a douche. The way I reacted was I was so scared. So I'm going to sue Apple. Speaking of, there was another Me Too I saw on social media, which was like, this big fat gay guy, look what he says.
I've no underwear on under this. That's
it
dangerous.
is? Oh.
I would also
There's a ventilation there.
Ventilation in the genitalia? She is uncomfortable, you can tell. But she's kind of going in her head, ooh, that feels like a Me Too. Is it a Me Too? He's gay, so, well, just put it in the may come back to pile years down the line if his career does well. But that's the trouble with being a performer, is like, you always have to try and say something that's interesting, you know? A lot of what's interesting is inappropriate, you know, especially in comedy. And so it's constant risk. So there's a level of trust there. You know, there's a level of trust you need with your audience, with society as a whole. And we live in a low trust society. He didn't mean anything by that. And nobody has complained about it apart from me. But that's more, I'm doing it out of a place of vindictiveness. I'm not actually, I don't care. But that's what makes it so hard to be a comedian now. It's like, in the good old days when boys were boys and men were men, we lived in a society where you assumed, and I see this in my dad, like, he assumes the best of people, whereas I assume the worst. I assume that they will get offended at everything. So I lie. And so it makes it really hard as a performer to actually exist, because everybody's assuming the worst, they assume the worst. You know, if you make a joke like Tommy Tiernan did about that little disabled girl being a football, looks real bad. And you could like lose your life and not be able to support your kids about it and shit. The Irish basketball women's team had their Instagram deleted as well. So that's fun to see liberals getting cancelled. It's just fun. Because usually they're on the fashionable side of the argument. Whereas now they're on the fashionable side, but seems if you're anti-Jewish, you're going to get your thing cancelled. But I'm not going full Kanye West on that. I'm just saying. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It's a bit of a long one. I just thought I'd get a video out because I was feeling a bit creatively stagnant. Bye, and I love you. One fun move you can do with this whole Palestine-Israel shit is that, like, oftentimes men who wear these hats are pro-Palestine, but these hats are so small, they look like the little hat that Jews wear. If you accuse them of using it as a symbol that they support Israel could lead to some interesting fallout. You know, Jacob, the little kid off TikTok, supports Israel. And this is crazy, guys. They made a video.
Picked it up and gave it to our nose.
They shot the thing in a McDonald's. And McDonald's, it seems, is like one of those companies that indirectly supports Israel. That's one of the companies we should be boycotting as pro-Palestine. So Jacob is not politically neutral. He's pro-Israel. You know, he didn't need to be pro-Palestine. He can have his own mind. But he ain't neutral. He's made his bed and now he's going to lie in it. He is unwilling to sacrifice a few Happy Meals for the prevention of genocide. That's the cold hard truth, guys. And we need to come to terms with that as Jacob fans.